It's been about a month since Chapter 4 Season 4 has dropped, and here are my thoughts on the current meta of Zero build. Please comment below what your favorite parts of Season 4 have been so far. For me, the weapons are always where I like to start off when we're thinking about a current season. So, my favorite weapons right now are definitely the Twin Mag AR. It reminds me a lot of the MK from last season and the Red Dot from previous seasons. It actually really feels like a combination of the two, honestly. You can tag people at longer ranges like you could the Red Dot, yet you can kind of rip them at closer ranges like you could with the MK. The DPS is actually slightly higher than the MK, and overall it's actually an incredible weapon. The very first day of the season I wasn't like totally sold on it yet because I didn't really fully know how it worked. But after getting the hang of it just a few days in, it's been my go-to so far. The SMGs, we are still left with the Combat SMG from Season 3, which is an amazing close-range spray option after any kind of shotgun shot. But we also got the new Scoped SMG, which I like to use if we are in the early game, like right off the drop. I feel like that's when it's best, is when it's in a situation where people don't have quite full shields yet, but it can handle the medium range pretty well, or it can be an okay switch option if you are in close range going shot. Switch to the Scoped SMG, do one burst, and then switch back to your shotgun. Speaking of shotguns, my current favorite shotgun is definitely the Sharp Tooth, like for overall loot pool. I feel like it's the easiest to replace if you were using the Havoc last season. We also got the Infiltrator, which is kind of an interesting shotgun. It's a little bit more of a fast shooting and not quite a pump. It's a little closer. It's kind of like a Maven, but with a smaller crosshair, really. Its fire rate is slightly slower than the Maven, but it can hit for headshots a little bit easier because of the smaller crosshair. The Maven is back on the floor loot, which I'm actually it's weird. I've gone like up and down with the Maven. At first I really liked it, then I was like, I don't quite like it quite as much as Infiltrator and other shotguns, and now I'm actually going kind of back to liking it again. I am really liking the Maven. In the beginning of the season, my Maven personally was losing out to other Infiltrators. Like, I would go up against someone with an Infiltrator, I would have a Maven, and they would be beating me, so I kind of went away from the Maven. But after playing a lot with the Heisted Accelerant, I've actually liked the base Maven more. So speaking of the Heisted Accelerant, that gun's gotta go. I mean, that gun has been in the loot pool since the beginning of the season. For the first few days of the season, it was only 400 gold to purchase at Rumble Ruins. Now it's 800 gold, and even at 800 gold, it's still a little too common. Mainly because it's not only from the NPC at Rumble Ruins that you can find this weapon at, but you can also get it from hollow chests as well. And for the 1 week that we had the birthday Fortnite event, you were also able to get it from the presents as well. So a lot of Heisted Maven running around, and truthfully, it kind of feels like a drum shotgun in this current meta, which just doesn't fit at all. It's the most powerful close range option, bar none. Bar none. I mean, you can still get away with, if you have a really good shot, a Sharp Tooth combat switch, and then switch back to Sharp Tooth, maybe can have a higher DPS, but overall the Heisted Maven is definitely the easiest to use, especially with the accelerant boost that it gives you when you're firing, rapidly in succession. There have been actually times where I have intentionally missed my first of 6 shots with the Heisted Maven just so that I can get a speed boost and try to outmaneuver my opponent through hip firing. The sniper rifles are back and better than ever. The silent sniper is so much fun. The heavy sniper was great, the hunter bolt action sniper was also fun, but the sniper is great because you don't show where you are really, because it's just it's a hard weapon to pin down where someone's shooting at you from. If you are not looking at somebody and they take a shot at you and say they, are either behind you or at your side, and then they kind of de-scope and you turn around to look where they are, it's really hard to find someone who's not still aiming down sight at you. And after one shot, people usually are not aiming down sight unless they, of course, have the sniper surplus perk. But I love snipers. I always like having a good one-shot headshot option in the game. I feel like it has to keep people on their toes. You have to always be moving. I've died to my handful of snipes this season. I've definitely gotten more than I've died to, but it's a gun that kind of keeps everyone honest, I feel like. The pistols currently, I'm not the biggest fan of the silenced pistol. I prefer the tactical pistol from last season, but it's not the biggest change in the world overall. The thing that I like least about it is just it has a 12 bullet mag versus the 15 of the tactical, and 12 is just such a small number, despite it hitting pretty good for headshots. I feel like it's about a 50 headshot shot, which is very nice. Although the tactical was similar to, it was like in the mid 40s, 45 or so. And finally, the last gun that was added a couple weeks into the season is the sticky grenade launcher that I wanted to talk about. I like the sticky grenade launcher a lot. I've seen a lot of people complaining about this gun. I'm not really sure why people complain about this gun. I mean, we had the explosive repeater last season. We've had explosive weapons before. To me, the sticky grenade launcher is just a great explosive option. I feel like in a game where we have destructible environments, it's nice to have something that can actually destroy those environments. All right, now let's get on to the utility of this season. So shockwaves came back about midway through last season, and are they here even more currently? They've been spawning way more frequently in the loot pool, which is incredible. And then we have a new perk this season called On the Go Bag, which is honestly just called Infinite Shockwaves. every time you open any container whatsoever, doesn't matter what the container is or anytime you open anything that's not a hollow chest, I feel like hollow chests are the only thing that you can open that will not give you any movement, but you will get one of 3 movement items between Slap Splashes, Crash Pad Juniors, and Shockwaves. Now, Crash Pad Juniors are kind of useless, and Slap Splashes can be very helpful if you need a quick little healing, but it's mainly for Shockwaves. You got about a 33% chance to get Shockwaves anytime you open any container. Fruit basket, cash register, ammo box, anything. And that means for endgame, I very, very often am fully loaded on Shockwaves, which just makes everything easier. For me, Shockwaves are the #1 item of Fortnite. That's why I made the channel logo a Shockwave Grenade. It's my favorite item. I think it's just super fun, super unique. You can use it in so many different ways, from offensive to defensive, and I'm just so happy that we finally have Shockwaves everywhere. We got the briefcase turret, which is a fun / silly item. If you've seen my video on it, then you know that I had a lot of fun with it the first few days. It is just something that is cool to throw down if you have the proper situation for it. I really enjoy a good business turret play. I will admit I'm not using it quite as much as I have in the past, because I just think while it's good, it does have several limitations, and it is easily beaten by someone just rushing you. I've been playing with the EMP grenades a little bit more, which came when the sticky grenade launcher was updated into the game, and I think the EMP grenades actually are a little bit more clutch if you get them early to mid game. I'm not carrying these items very often late game unless I'm really, down bad on my loot, but I think that an EMP grenade or a briefcase turret on early mid game is actually very, very fun. The jump pads, the Crash Pad Junior, we mentioned them before, they're pretty bad. They're not very good. Like, I've used them offensively and effectively maybe once so far. Maybe I just need to try a little harder with them, but overall they really are Shockwaves, toned down dramatically. Bunkers are still in the game. Porta bunker, they have been OP since they were in last season, and they are still very, very powerful. In fact, you can carry 4 bunkers is kind of crazy, and anytime I get into a fight with someone and they throw down a bunker, I'm like, here we go, playing builds and no builds. And now we have the ice wall as well, which is not quite as strong of an option as the bunker, but it is an infinitely used option. So no 4 uses, I mean, you get infinite, and only has I think a 12-second cooldown, which is insane. It should be more like 15 to 20 seconds, but 12-second cooldown is insane. Speaking of cooldown, you know what I haven't talked about yet is the rocket ram. Rocket ram is actually a pretty cool item. I'm very happy that they added it into the game for 2 reasons. One, people love to use this thing. People love to use this thing offensively. They love to use it defensively, and I don't think it's that great of an item. I think it's very easy to shoot people out of the sky with it. I don't think it's that easy to get away with. It has a very long cooldown of I think it's 25 seconds. So I've really enjoyed the rocket ram just being in the game, because people will use it against me, not very effectively, albeit, and I've only really gotten killed by it, really good killed by it once, I think. Someone hit me off a tall building with it. But for the most part, I'm usually able just to shred people, take cover, and just kind of blast them when they land. So I like the rocket ram a lot, and it seems like from what I've read online that a lot of people really enjoy that item. The heals right now are in a pretty good position. I'm glad I'm making this video now and not about a week ago before we got the Slurp Juice update. So Slurp Juices are the best healing item in the game, and they were kind of flooding the game about before the update. Every time you would kill the boss in the second zone, you could get 2. Every time you get your combat cache, you would get 2. This is all in solos. And then every time you would capture the island, you would also get 2. So by the time you get between 3rd and 4th zone, it seems like almost everyone has slurps from either the boss or their combat cache. And it's just a very, very powerful item. It only takes 2 seconds to get off. It can heal you up from 1 HP up to 200, your shields and your health. It's pretty busted. I think it gives you a 3 tick every second on both, so you get 6 HP every second. Very, very strong item, and it's fun to have. I remember the meta when I came into the game, really started playing Fortnite, chug splashes were the meta. So I mean, you could carry 6 of those, which would get you up to 120 health. Say you were down to 1 HP, it would get you up to 121 HP. So the fact that you can carry 2 of these and get up all the way from 1 to 200 is super, super powerful compared to where we were just a couple of, seasons / chapters ago. And slurps are still good. They're still the best healing item in the game. They're just not quite as easy to find now that they've reduced them from 2 in each instance to 1. So if you kill the boss, if you get your combat cache, or if you capture the Sky Island, you're only getting 1 slurp per person, where before you were getting 2 per person in every game mode. So now I think because of that, we're going to be seeing a little bit more uses of exotic splashes, which are good because we've been getting those from llamas, which are a little more frequently on the map. So if you kill a llama, you're going to get 6 exotic splashes, which is honestly awesome. If you only have 1 slurp or 6 exotic splashes, I can easily see someone choosing these 6 exotic splashes, as they are a little bit quicker to getting up to near max health. 6 exotics will give you 180, and plus they will give you the sprinting ability for a minute. So I think that the 20 HP reduction is worth it for a full minute of sprint. I mean, if you have 6 of them, you could really have 6 full minutes of sprint if you timed it out that way. And we also got the pizza now too. Pizza's great because you can just, grab a few slices, you can heal up really quickly in your shields. It doesn't do white health anywhere nearly as good, but pizza for shields is really, really nice. And then once again, I know we mentioned it earlier, but if you have on the go bag, you can just use the regular slap splashes, not the exotics. Pretty much anytime you open anything, you're going to get a pretty good chance of healing up. So I think the heals are overall in a really good position position right now. And we were just talking about on the go bag. Let's talk about some of the other augments. Some of my favorite ones right now are first shotgun, because I feel like it's kind of easy to just like peek, shoot, and then sometimes you even have a chance to reload between your first shot and your second shot. So you could even get 2 first shotgun shots off in a battle, which I've definitely done before. I like first assault as well, just like first shotgun, because it's easy to control, because you are always going to know when you're taking your first shot. Where there's the, say, SMG sign off, which got a 1 bullet buff. Last season it was last 3 bullets of your SMG. Currently it's the last 4 bullets of your SMG will get a damage increase. I want to say that they did that because we have the Scoped Smg now, which is a 4-round burst weapon, and it wouldn't have really made sense if only 3 of the 4 bullets got the burst, and doing 4 in the combat really doesn't make a combat that much more busted. It barely changes it, if at all. But I like the first perks, the first shotgun, first assault. First assault is good too, because on the twin mag you're reloading so often with the twin mag that you kind of get, you get 2 first assaults within your first 2 21 bullets. So I like first assault quite a bit. Fast swimming in Mud Warrior are good for heals on the go. I think Mud Warrior is a little bit easier because it's automatic, like last season's Aquatic Warrior, where fast swimming you do actually have to pick up the fish and eat them and this and that. It's not quite as easy as just stand in a shallow puddle of water and get heals up to 150, which I loved. I would always choose Aquatic Warrior last season because it came in clutch very frequently for end games when you run out of heals. Sniper Surplus is an absolute must-have if you snipe. It gives you 2 bullets in the mag instead of 1, which is just unbelievable. I mean, it really can change the outcome of a fight, especially if you hit someone in the body. Then you really have a chance to finally hit them again in the body. Just commit to the body shots, and then you can shockwave in and just hit them with a quick little tap of the shotgun or with a twin mag from a distance. We also have Bloodhound back in as well if you are playing with the sniper, because that will count for your Bloodhound augment, so it's a good way to ping people. So I think sniping is actually in a really good place right now. Then we have just a handful more, which kind of really depend on your style overall. Like we mentioned earlier, we have SMG sign off, but you have a couple more for SMG. You have Light Fingers, which automatically reloads all of your light weapons a little bit faster. We also have SMG, I think it's called SMG Reckless Reload, something like that, where if you are reloading an empty SMG, you can get the reload a little bit quicker. I'm not gonna lie, I've stacked these perks before just to test them out, and it really doesn't make an SMG that much more busted if you go all SMG perks. It's not really worth it for what you get, in my personal experience. We also have the explosive on the go bag. I kind of forgot what it's called, but it's basically where anytime you open anything you get explosive ammo, which pairs beautifully with not only the sticky grenade launcher, but if you are able to get the mythic shockwave launcher, that also goes off of rocket ammo. So that's just an incredible perk if you have that. It's basically like on the go bag, but it's basically for the shockwave launcher / sticky grenade launcher, which is incredible perk if you're running 1 or 2 of those guns. Overall, we haven't really touched on the map yet, but the map is great. The new locations are awesome. They're crazy and they're chaotic, and I don't really have like the skills to handle the hot drops, like the mythic POI drops, so I don't really go there super often, but I do like to land outside of those, maybe sometimes try and catch the person who's rotating out, or go in there and clean up after the fact, or just take some other drops that are not being contested so heavily around the map, since we have these extremely hot drops. We have 3 other vaults without mythics that are great too. Those are in Mega City, Rumble Ruin, and Slappy Shore. I like hitting those a little more often, because if you kill the boss there, you get a gold combat SMG, and sometimes I'll go there just to do that and then ignore the vault. Say I just want to get that gold combat if I'm trying to play combat that game. I've landed Rumble Ruins and Slappy Shores quite a bit this season because of those. I like the cameras a lot in the POIs. The cameras, the henchmen, the whole thing. Those are easy to destroy, but I think a lot of players ignore them and they let themselves get tagged, which definitely don't, folks. Don't let yourselves get tagged if you are playing these POIs. They've saved me a bunch this season by just seeing people who got tagged and then knowing where they were and going to kill them before they get to kill me. If you do get tagged by one of those cameras, my advice is to go run in the opposite direction that you actually want to go, to throw your opponents off of, your actual intentions. But yeah, the map is great. It spawns with the vault. Round 2 is when the storm towers come in. Round 3 is where you get your combat cache, and round 4 is where the sky island spawns, and it will usually stay on the map until about round 6. And then by that time, you're usually down to about between 10 and 20 people, depending on how sweaty the lobby is, and you can start your positioning for the end game. I think it's been like a really good pace, and the reduction of slap juice will be letting the end game finish a lot quicker, where right now, well, before that change, people were just healing up so much. So overall, I think season 4 has been absolutely awesome. Each update's been great. We had the sticky grenade launcher EMP update, the My Hero Academia update, the birthday update, and we're gonna be getting the, I think, Ahsoka update, Star Wars update next. So I'm really excited for what Fortnite has for us. It's been really great, and I hope you are all enjoying it as much as I am. If you've made it this far, please consider leaving a like, subscribing if you haven't, and share with a friend who you think may enjoy this kind of content. Comment what you agree on or disagree on down below. Thank you all so much. Love you all, and we'll see you on the next one.